Hello and welcome everyone to our latest instalment of our Microsoft for Lawyers series. My name is Lisa Crosby and you are here with Virtual Barhead Solutions. I'll introduce my colleagues in a moment. We are going to cover some awesome stuff today about email management, matter management. You're going to see some fabulous stuff about what's possible to do with model-driven Power Apps, including a fully built-out solution that you can use for matter management, and to see what's possible with this as well as managing your emails in there. If you are watching live, welcome. Please pop questions in the chat as we go. We are monitoring those and we'll answer them throughout, and we'll have little breaks. I'm going to be moderating and keeping an eye on those things. You might need to refresh your screen. I'll pop that in the chat. Obviously, you won't hear me if you've got that there at the moment. So welcome. Thank you all for joining, and please pop any questions, ideas, comments, and things in the chat. So I'd like to introduce my colleagues who will be presenting the session today. We have Roshona Elijah and Amanda Fajman. Amanda, I'm going to hand over to you to kick us off. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, and hi everyone. Just a quick introduction. I'm the Engagement Manager at Barhead Solutions for Consensus, which is our matter management and contract lifecycle management built on the Microsoft Power Platform. And I've got a real passion for helping lawyers make the most of their Microsoft technology. I wear a couple of other hats as a proud member of WALTA, the Women of Australian Legal Technology, and as a geeky guru for the Centre of Legal Innovation. And once again, I want to thank our partners, the Centre for Legal Innovation and the Australasian Society for Computers and the Law, for their support with this series. I also want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land I'm standing on, the Boonwurrung Woonwurrung and the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung peoples of the Eastern Kulin Nation, and pay respects to their elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who are joining us today. So thank you very much. Just a quick recap. We're in session 5 of our 8-part series. I'm really excited to be presenting this with my colleagues. As Lisa said, we want your input and your feedback, so please comment in the chat or send us personal messages after the call. If you have missed a session, they are available on LinkedIn Live or on YouTube, so please catch up on previous events as we do build on the skills each time. And you might have noticed today that we have shortened today's session to 30 minutes. We're going to try and squeeze the content into a 30-minute block. We had some feedback, really great feedback on the series so far, and we respect your time, so we're going to try and fit this into 30 minutes, but please stay to the end because we've got something special to offer you at the end. So with that, I just want to go through and set the scene. Quick recap. We've laid the foundation for all of the Microsoft applications that Microsoft have on offer, and we've been going through them one by one. So we've started off with Teams, with tasks, to do and planner to help lawyers better manage their day-to-day work and from a task management point of view. We've moved on to Power Automate to help lawyers, show them how they can automate their processes, automate their workflows and automate their documents. Session 3 moved into forms, intake and Power Virtual Agents. Session 5 moved into AI Builder, and that was really quite a technical session where we went under the hood showing how you can extract your data for processing in the context of an invoice or a contract schedule. And here we are with session 5. We're now focusing on email management and matter management, and we're going to take you through Powerapps in this session. And so, this is really because one of the key messages we repeatedly hear is, how do I manage my inbox? Now, fortunately, the volume of email traffic we've seen has decreased, especially with the increasing usage of channels like Teams and Slack. And that's primarily for team-based chat or intra-company communication. But email remains the main form of inter-company communication. And for many lawyers, that is what they're dealing with day to day. They're dealing with solicitors on the other side. They're dealing with other parties. They're dealing with counterparties. And so most of that communication does happen between companies, and that is done via email. So, traditionally going back a decade or two, and yes, that does show my age, lawyers would write the email, send it, print it, and take a physical copy and file that physical copy. Fortunately, most of us have moved off paper-based files but there is still the need to have that email and file that email against a matter or against a contract. In many cases, this is a legal requirement. In some cases, it's retention, or from a corporate knowledge point of view, you need to retain that copy of that advice that was sent. So without labouring the point any longer, because I feel like I'm preaching to the converted, you're all here to learn about email management in the context of matter management and how you can track and file emails without leaving your Outlook application. So to do this, we first need to introduce you to the concept of Powerapps, which forms the backbone of our matter management system. Rashona, can you take us away?
Absolutely. Thanks, Amanda. And popular question in the chat is always, is this going to be recorded? So just before I get into Powerapps, yes, this will. As usual, you can find the recording of this session on YouTube, be on LinkedIn, and also on our website. You'll be able to go and find it there if you want to rewatch this one or some of our past sessions. All right, so just to give us a bit of an overview of what Powerapps is, like Amanda said, Powerapps is really the backbone of what we're going to be showing you today. So if you're unfamiliar with what Powerapps is, it's the Microsoft tool for creating your own app without any code. And you can go and find this at make.powerapps.com. And this gives you the ability to create your own app. If you think about what use cases you might have, what you want to create an app for, that's possible to build out using this technology that we're showing you here today. So over in make.powerapps.com, you have the option to create your own app. And there are a few different types, but the one that we're going to be focusing on today is this one called a model-driven app, or it's an app that's built on top of Dataverse. So over here, I have a very simple model-driven app that's been built out just to give you a bit of an idea of what you can do with this. So using this technology, you could do something like build out your own CRM system if you wanted to. So maybe if you might be managing things like accounts, contacts, that type of information, we can build out these tables or a data model of the info you want to store. And then what we have here, it's like an app built on top of that data. So in this particular case, I have a table that I've created to store information about court cases. So as a user, I built this app. We can go in, we can access court cases from the side here, and then see all the data and all the records that we have from this view and the particular information that we want to see. Clicking into that, then I can now see more details about this court case or record. So we've got things like the title, the name of it, the hearing date. So this can be really whatever information you want. This court case one is just a simple example of what you can build, but specific to whatever your need is, you can make that. And that all begins here. If I go back into Powerapps, we have this Dataverse area and tables. We have things like accounts, contacts, email, feedback. So these are some tables that are already in there that you can use to build your apps on top of. So let's say if I click on the account one, I then have particular columns. So things like the address, the account name, their phone number. Actually, let me head back to one that actually has data in it so you can see it that way. Let's go to our court cases one, custom one I've created. And you can see that data being stored there. So essentially we start off with these tables, our data as the starting point, and then we build something like this, our app. And just to quickly also show you what that looks like, it will be over here. I'll open up the editing canvas for that. And this is, once again, all no code, low code. So we're pretty much building this out using drag and drop functionality. So if we want to add a page, we can add in things like dashboards, some more data we connected. Maybe we want to add in that account table that I pointed out. And then essentially what we're doing is we're creating out that app just from simply adding in the different components that we want here. So that is a very quick overview of Powerapps, what you can do with it, and a bit about what these model-driven apps look like.
Thanks.
You go, Lisa.
That's all right. Thanks, Roshona. What we're going to have a look at now is where you can go with this. So, we've had a look at this concept of model-driven Power Apps, which allows us to create our own data structure. You can create those tables. You can create any app you like out of this. And we saw in Roshona's example there that basic sort of concept of a case management app, which is what can happen if you sort of get in and want to build something basic yourself. What we're going to have a look at here is what happens if you really build that out properly. Like you use all of those tools in there and you start to build in some process automation and things. And so this is something that we've developed called Consensus, which Amanda is going to talk to us about. But this is built on the same technology that we were just looking at. Make sure you stick around to the end for a bit of a special offer that we've got going on with this for those of you who are watching. Amanda, I'll let you take it from here and talk through what this model-driven app that we've built can do.
Thank you, Lisa. So look, as Lisa said, this is a end-to-end contract lifecycle and matter management app, which is built on that model-driven app that Roshona showed us. And it's just an example of what we can do. We've created an app specifically for legal and procurement teams, contracting teams, but it essentially can be equally applicable to any organisation or industry which is document heavy, which relies on email as a form of communication, such as risk and compliance, HR, or other use cases like councils, government, not-for-profit, where you really need to collaborate on your documents. So we've created this central source of truth for a matter record of a contract, so you can easily track, locate, and manage your contracts or matters and make sure that the right people can collaborate on the right documents in real time. And it allows users to both create and save that information to a file on the one hand, and then also retrieve that information when you need it in a secure Microsoft environment, which ties in all of your Microsoft applications like Outlook, SharePoint, and Teams, etc., into one central place. So we've built a layer of automation over the top, automated workflows, pre-built reports for analytics and insights, portals for self-service and alerts, etc., so you can save time and reduce risk. And allow you to manage that full life cycle of a matter or a contract all in one place. So without further ado, let's go across into seeing what it looks like. Roshona, can you take a look at how we can track an email?
All right, let's take a look at that. So I'm going to show us Outlook in a moment so we can first of all see our emails and learn how we can track them. But before that, let's take a quick look at Consensus so we can see where these emails are going to be ending up. Let me bring up Consensus here. So we'll talk about this in a moment. And down the side in Consensus, I can go ahead and I can access all of my matters. And here, kind of like that model-driven app I showed us before, but of course this is a lot more complex with what we need for this use case, is we can go ahead and now access all of those matters that we have, and these are the active ones that we have in the system. Clicking into that, I'm now presented with the details about this particular record or matter, the supply contract one. Amanda, maybe do you want to take us through a bit about what we see on the screen here?
Yeah, sure. So you saw Roshona show you some of those Dataverse tables which sit at the back end. This is a really nice user-friendly interface which allows users to see the matter data or the metadata about a matter all in one screen. A lot of that, the lookout is customizable and you can move things around and you can set certain parameters. So you can see there we've got data about when it was created, when the matter's due by, a timeline, who the other party is, who the internal client is, risk ratings, matter details, matter types, etc. That's in the overview pane. And as you work your way across the tabs, we've got, deeper levels of information, such as all the documents, all the emails, tasks, approvals, etc. We're going to dive in today into the email tab and show you where the emails end up and how you get those emails there.
All right, thanks, Amanda. So all the emails that we track in Outlook are going to be presented here for us. So you can see here we've already got a few emails that have come through. And if we go and we access them in Consensus or our model-driven app, this is what it's going to look like here. So we can access all the emails, we can see the details, we can even reply, respond, and see it from here. We'll go to this one a bit more towards the end, but before that, let's jump into Outlook to show us how we even get them here in the first place. All right, so I've got Outlook here. Let me bring it up for us. So directly from Outlook, I don't even need to go into this completely different app to go and see these emails and to track them. It can be all done with wherever you're already working here in Outlook. So over here, you'll notice that I've got some emails come through. And I have this add-in for Dynamics 365. So don't worry that it's called Dynamics 365. That's the name of it. But this is going to allow us to connect it up to Consensus or this model-driven Power App that we've created. So this particular one, let me open up another one actually. We'll go with that email. Let's go with this email. Dynamics 365. Even you saw then I was opening it quite a bit. I can actually just go and pin it there so that it always stays open for me down the side, no matter where I am or what email I'm looking at. So over here, we can track these emails to a particular matter or a contract that we have. The ones that are being tracked in the system already, this one, of course, it's saying it's not tracked, will have this blue indication there that says that it's being tracked to it there. So the other thing is that even if I don't track it myself, if someone else in my organization, perhaps they got the same email and they went ahead and they tracked it on their end, I will also see that it's being tracked. So there's no duplication here. So it's not like it's going to go and create this email multiple times over in the app. It's just going to be in the single place. So this one here, it's already tracked, like you can see. Let's open up this one and I'll show you how we can track it. So over here, we have this set regarding field, and this is making us pick an existing contract or matter that we have in the system. And it's first of all just going to show you your recent records to start off with. You can search and find the one that you want. Go with our supply contract. And in a moment, you'll notice the tick to let us know that it's being tracked here. So what we can do is, of course, we could go to Consensus, open up the app to go and look at the details, but even better, we can just work with it directly from here as well. I can just simply click on that matter. I can even make it bigger at the side so I can view the whole details of it. And I can interact and work with it just as if I was in the actual website I was before to see the full app. So if I need to view the details, make any edits, I even have this business process flow at the top. So as a user, I can sort of progress this through a process of working through this matter and do that directly from here too. So that's what it looks like for if we are linking it to an existing matter or contract in the system. But what if you didn't know the name of the contract or the matter that you wanted to track it to? You can also search for an organization or a contact you might have in the system to go and find the right contract that you need as well. And I will untrack this one so we can use the same example. And let's go ahead and track it again. So I have the search at the top here where I can look for my different data that I might have in Consensus. So maybe if this particular one was related to Microsoft and I have Microsoft as an organization in my app, I can look them up. And simply from here, just go and see what details they have. Let's open it up. It will take me to their record, so I can also then go and browse the contracts and any other related information that they have, and then just simply select it from here too. Same thing works as well if it was a particular person instead that you wanted to link it to too. So that's linking it to existing things. What if we wanted to create something new? So same things apply. We have this plus button at the top where we can go ahead. I won't create a brand new one right now, but you get the idea. Is we can directly from here, let's say a new email comes through, a completely different matter, new thing. We can just go ahead and create that matter directly from here. All of these fields that you see, so some are required. This is all configurable. So whatever information you want to capture, you can customize this form as you like and make particular things required or not required as you need. And if I was to fill this out, we could save that, and then we could have that linked or tracked against this new matter that we've just created in the system. Same thing, we could also create new contacts and new organizations as well if they're new people coming through. But you would have noticed that as the email comes in, we also have the information about the people it's associated to as well. So by default, you will already have everyone in your tenant, your Azure Active Directory appear here. So like Amanda, let's say, for example, is in my organization. I can already click into her and see her details. The other thing you can do from here is you can also see any matters or contracts related to a person too. So if she did have any, I can just go and access them from here to see what else she might be involved with. Or as a better example, it might be someone external from your organization who's emailing you something. And then in your case, so in that case, you could go ahead, you could create them as a new contact if they're not already in the system. You could access them like I've clicked on Amanda there, and then see what other dealings you might be having or going on with them or their organization from here too. All right, so let me see what else. So the other thing that we have as well is you can also track your Outlook appointments that you have. So for that, you can go into your calendar to go and view that. Let me go and open up. I'm going to open up the calendar in the browser so we can see it work. So a bit like how we had those emails we can track, similar thing, we have our meetings. So I can simply just go ahead and open up these meetings that I have. And we also have that Dynamics 365 add in here. So then appointments, things like that can also be tracked on that same record over in Consensus, just like we've had that email there too. So the other good thing about this is we can also leverage adaptive cards as well. Let me show you an example of what one of these adaptive cards look like. Got this one here. So amazing thing about this is that you can get action from people without them needing to go into Consensus or the app themselves. If you want people to maybe accept, reject, or approve things, you can get them to do it directly from Outlook by sending these adaptive cards. So there's this direct integration to be able to go and do this. So what this means for us is I could just simply get this email. You can send this to anyone in your organization, by the way. I can send my reply, and then that will update that record. So whoever's working on it can keep progressing through this. So if they want to move across that business process flow, do the next task that they need to do, they can now move on now that I've got an action this directly from Outlook. So this functionality that we see here, this is available in desktop, mobile, and web as well. Amanda, I think that's all for the Outlook side of things. Do you think there's anything I've missed, or should we head over into Consensus?
Let's head over to the application. I mean, you can see what Roshana has shown you there is we're really trying to help users in the applications that they're working in to avoid a lot of that application switching, which we know is labor intensive and time consuming. But there are times when you are working in the app, you're in the middle of a matter, you've got the data in front of you, and you want to be able to see the emails that have been sent and received on a matter. So let's have a look at what that experience is like now.
All right, sure thing. Let me bring up Consensus again, and let's take a look at that. So I'm back here in this record that we were looking at before, our supply contract matter. And over here, I have my emails tab, where I can see all of these emails that have been tracked. And it's not only the ones that I've tracked myself. Anyone in my organization, if it's related to this matter, we're going to see it tracked here. If I open up this one, for example, from John Smith to Amanda, I'm not even included on this email thread, but it still gives me the ability to go in and see what this was about. So give me this full picture of what's happening with this contract. So this is particularly useful for, let's say maybe you went on holiday and someone else took over. You still want to see all the email correspondence that happened while you were gone. Or if maybe you weren't looped into a particular email, you can still go and view it from here. So it's not like you need to be on it to go and see it. We can also access all of the attachments that were there too. Let's take a look at this one. And you can also notice that as I click on it, we get this preview at the side. We can also click into it directly if we did want to view it in full view like that. Let me head back, open up this one here. Let's take a look at this one. Does this one have an attachment? There we go, that opened now. So here we can see all the attachments that were on that email, and we can also open it directly from here as well. So the other thing is that we can also see the attachments or any documents associated to this matter in this documents area that we have over in the matter record too. So this is connected to SharePoint. In one of our next sessions we will be going into a bit more around what you can do with this with SharePoint, seeing your files in your model-driven apps here. But you can see that we can access it directly from here within the tab of our matter as well. Back on that email that we were looking at. So this works similar to Outlook. So of course I could go to Outlook, reply to my messages and reply to emails there, or I could even do it directly from here too. So you could see we can view all the details of the email. We can reply, forward, and do whatever we need to do with the email from here as well. On our matter, we also have this timeline of activities that we see going on. So this is going to give us timeline or like a history of things like our appointments, emails, phone calls, tasks. You can even add notes to this as well. So this is another good place to go to get an overall view of what action has been happening with a particular matter. You can even use this to search and filter. So maybe if I wanted to find a particular email or only the emails that have happened, we can search it. We can use that filter button there, filter our emails, and then we have that there and look for it from here. There is another search as well, which is, you would have noticed, this search that we have at the top. So this is a bit like your global search. It allows you to look for anything you might have in your system, emails, contacts, organizations, contracts that have been created. And so maybe if I was to go and look for NDA, maybe I might be looking for a particular email that has the word NDA in it. I can just simply do a search here at the top, and then you can see it nicely categorizes what we're looking for from documents, matters, email addresses. You can also configure this to bring up other types of information or types of results as well that you would like. And that's our overview of emails in Consensus. Amanda, anything else you want to add to that, or reckon we are good to finish off for today?
Yeah, thanks, Roshona. Look, as she mentioned, this was email management in the context of matter management. And in our next session, we're going to deeper dive into the SharePoint integration in the context of contract lifecycle management in more detail. So we hope you stick around. And as we mentioned, so that's in 2 weeks' time. And as we mentioned at the start, we do have a special offer for everyone watching us live here today or who have watched our sessions previously. We've really been blown away by the interest and the feedback we've received from this series. And we really want to continue that community that we've created around Microsoft for Lawyers. So you've heard us mention Consensus during this and previous sessions. What we're doing today is offering a free month for matter management. We'd love for you to download and install it. We'll post the link to the offer directly in the chat for everyone to click through, and we'll publish it on social media as well. We'd really love to get your feedback. The contact details are there to find out more information about Consensus, to find more information about how you can contact us as well, and answer any questions that you have. So thank you for your attendance. We look forward to seeing you in a fortnight's time, and please take advantage of this offer. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Roshona. Awesome stuff there. And do make sure you take advantage of that offer. Thank you, everyone, for coming along and supporting this series. We look forward to seeing you here next time.